My mom chose my stepdad and his kids over me, and they almost sent me away to boarding school. Then I nearly died. My name's Emily. I'm 14. And for a long time, I've felt like I don't even exist in my own house. 5 years ago, my dad died. I can still hear his laugh, see him tossing me up in the air while I giggled like crazy. Back then, our little home in a small Ohio town was full of warmth, and Mom looked at me like I was her whole world. But everything's different now. A year ago, Mom met Richard, and since then, I've basically become a ghost. Richard moved in with his 2 sons, Jake, who's 16, and Tyler, my age. Their mom ditched them when they were little, and it's like that sucked all the kindness out of them. Or maybe they just hate me. Richard's not some evil movie villain, but the way he looks at me like I'm some annoying extra baggage says it all. And Mom? She's so head over heels for him that she doesn't see me falling apart. She looks at Richard like he's her knight in shining armor, totally blind to how much I'm struggling in this house. It started with little things. One night at dinner, I was poking at my mac and cheese while Richard went on about his day, talking so loud, you'd think I wasn't even there. Jake and Tyler kept shooting each other smirks, and I could tell something was up. "Emily, you didn't clean up the kitchen again?" Richard snapped out of nowhere, not even looking at me. His voice was cold as ice. "I did," I said quietly, but he just got mad. "Don't lie. I saw the dirty pan." I gripped my fork so hard, my knuckles turned white. It was Tyler's pan. He'd made eggs and left it in the sink on purpose to blame me. I tried to explain, but Mom just sighed. "Emily, stop arguing. Just do what you're told." She didn't even glance my way, too busy smiling at Richard. That night, I cried into my pillow, trying to keep quiet so no one would hear. Why does Mom always pick them over me? But that was just the beginning. One day, I was cramming for a biology test, my desk buried in textbooks, when Jake and Tyler burst into my room without knocking. They always do that. Barge in like they own the place, and I'm just some guest. "Yo, Emily, what's this mess?" Jake said, snatching my backpack. He dumped everything onto the floor, notebooks, pencils, the old calculator Dad gave me. Tyler kicked my biology notes, sending them under the bed, and they both cracked up. "You're such a klutz, Emily. Maybe you need to go to boarding school. They'd straighten you out quick," Jake said, tossing my pencil case up and down. I scrambled to pick up my stuff, my hands shaking, while they just walked out, slamming the door. When I told Mom, she brushed it off. "They're just messing with you, Emily. Don't be so sensitive." Messing with me? My biology notes were ripped, and my calculator was cracked. I sat on the floor, holding it, feeling like another piece of Dad was slipping away. My 14th birthday hit me like a brick. I was so excited for it, hoping Mom would remember I'm her kid. But that morning, she took off with Richard to some dumb store, promising to be back by lunch. I was stuck at home with Jake and Tyler. They didn't even say happy birthday, just sneered. "Oh, birthday girl? Too bad, no cake for you." I decided to make my own day special. Dad always said I made awesome cupcakes. I spent hours in the kitchen, mixing batter, trying not to think about how empty I felt. When the cupcakes were done, I frosted them and set them on the table. I went to grab a candle, dreaming of blowing it out and wishing for Mom to love me again. But when I came back, Tyler had smashed the cupcakes and was feeding half of them to his dog, Baxter. "It's just food, Emily, chill," he said, shrugging. Jake was filming it on his phone, laughing so hard he could barely stand. I ran out of the house without a jacket and sat on the park swings until I was freezing. It started raining, but I couldn't go back. When Mom got home, she didn't even ask why I was soaked and shaking. She just said, "Emily, you're out wandering again? Richard's right. You're getting out of hand." Things got really bad when Richard started talking about boarding school. He called me a problem, said I was messing up their family. Jake and Tyler loved it, making up stories. Like how I supposedly stole money from Richard's wallet, that was Tyler, or how I broke their gaming console. It was just old and broke on its own. One night, I overheard Richard talking to Mom behind their bedroom door. "She needs to go, Kate. That boarding school in Indiana will teach her some discipline. She's out of control, and you know it." I waited for Mom to stand up for me, to say I'm her daughter, not a problem. But she just mumbled, "Maybe you're right." I stood there, my heart shattering. My own mom was okay with sending me away. I started shutting down. I stopped talking at dinner, stopped trying to get through to Mom. I felt like a ghost wandering through a house where no one saw me. One night, I found an old box of Dad's stuff in the basement. Inside were letters he wrote to me when I was little. "Emily, you're my light," one said. I hugged them to my chest and cried until I fell asleep on the cold floor. But even that wasn't safe. Tyler found the letters when I accidentally left them on the table and tore some of them up, saying, "Why do you need this junk? Your dad's long gone." I screamed at him, losing it for the first time in months. Mom walked in and instead of yelling at Tyler, snapped at me. "Emily, stop making a scene. You're acting like a kid." I stared at her, my head screaming, "You're my mom. Why aren't you on my side?" I started dreading that they'd actually send me to boarding school. Richard brought home brochures and Mom flipped through them while I pretended not to care. I imagined being shipped off to another state, all alone, with no one who cared about me. I stopped sleeping well, haunted by nightmares where I was falling, and Mom just stood there watching. I felt like I was losing her for good. Everything changed one freezing November night. I was walking home from school, lost in my thoughts. Richard had brought up boarding school again that morning, and all I could think about was being kicked out of my own home. It was pouring rain, and I didn't see the car speeding through the intersection. The crash was so loud, I didn't even have time to scream. Everything went black. I woke up in the hospital, my arm in a cast, my body aching, my face covered in bruises. Mom was sitting next to me, holding my hand so tight it hurt. Her eyes were red from crying, and for the first time in a year, she was looking at me, not Richard. "Emily, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I was blind. I didn't see how much you were hurting." She said the doctor noticed how I flinched at loud noises and cried quietly when I thought no one was watching. He asked if things were okay at home, and it hit Mom like a ton of bricks. She'd let me down. She stayed by my bed all night, promising I'd never feel unwanted again. A week later, Mom broke up with Richard. She said she couldn't be with someone who didn't accept her daughter. Jake and Tyler left with their dad, taking their dog and their nasty smirks with them. Our house became ours again. Mom started being herself again, the real mom, who hugs me before bed and listens when I talk about my drawings. She signed me up for an art class because I've always loved drawing, and she even started going to galleries with me. I still miss Dad sometimes, and it hurts that he's gone. But now I know I'm not alone. Mom's here, and maybe I'll never feel like a ghost again. There's nothing worse for a kid than feeling like your parents have betrayed you, like you don't even exist to them. What's your relationship like with your parents? Share your story. Let's lift each other up.